So you want to paint, but you don't want to learn to draw. Let me show you how to make that happen. I love painting. I've always loved painting. I started with painting. I really did not get into drawing until I was a little bit further in my journey. I still am not great at drawing. Painting is where my heart is at. It's what I enjoy doing. It's what I'm good at. But drawing is a crucial element of it, of art. And if you're still building that skill, I want to show you that you can use Procreate to help you in the meantime. So just insert a photo of whatever you want to draw and just trace it. It's really not that hard. I just wanted to show you guys, you just turn down the opacity of the photo and add a new layer and then just trace over it. And you can make like a really general trace, like an outline just to get the proportion or the perspective, or you can get really detailed with it. And then you would just export this, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. And I'm sure this is not a new idea. People do this, but I don't think people talk about it. I'm showing you now how to insert a private photo in case you want to export your video, your Procreate video of your drawing. You can insert a private photo so it doesn't show that part of it. It just shows the drawing. So people won't really know that you're using a photo to trace. And I think a lot of people utilize this, but they don't tell people about it. So I'm telling you, we do this. Artists do this, especially if drawing is not your main thing. This is another example of taking your original works. These are both my drawings. This is a painting that I made, and then the flower is just a colored pencil drawing that I did. And I'm literally going to make a collage out of my original work. It's not cheating. This is my work. So I'm just cutting what I want from it and organizing that in a way that I like the composition. And then once I have the composition arranged, then I just outline that. And then I'll export the outline to my printer, and I'll graphite transfer my outline. So that way when I'm painting and I'm making a big painting, I know that all the proportions and stuff match. I'm not trying to erase multiple times and ruin my paper, or things don't look a little bit wonky because the perspective or the scale is wrong, because, I'm not a perfect, drawing artist. So I just wanted to make it really clear that people do this. People aren't always clear about how they get to their end point. I see lots of artists that skip that whole drawing part. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because they're doing this. They're either photo bashing things together from their own work, possibly, or from free image stock like Pexels. And they're outlining it and they're exporting it. And then you see the actual painting process. But everybody can do this. This is fine. This is okay to do. Don't feel bad if you enjoy the painting process and you don't enjoy the drawing process. That's okay. You have time to get better at drawing. So here is my friend Sandy, and I drove to Florida and photographed her at the beach, and this was just a beautiful photo. And so I did the same thing. I inserted the photo, I traced all the outlines because I wanted the portrait to look exactly like the photo, like the perspective. I didn't want to take any artistic liberties with my friend's face. So I printed it out, and I had to print it in sections because the canvas was so large. But you print out your sections and you just graphite transfer them to your surface. I taped them together so they matched up, and then taped graphite transfer paper underneath of the photo that I printed out, and now I'm just transferring all my lines. So that way I know that the scale is correct, that the proportion is correct, that the perspective is correct compared to the photo. And I can just focus on painting and being creative in the painting process rather than the drawing process. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm sure everybody already knows this, but if you don't, I just wanted to mention it. People do this and they just don't talk about it. So now you can see that my lines have shown up on my canvas. Everything's good to go. And now I can start painting, because this is the part that I get creative with. This is the part I like to be a little bit looser and freer with when it comes to like the design of it. And like, I don't know, I like to take more creative liberties with the painting part. So this is the part that I enjoy. This is the meditative part. This is the part that I'm good at. So I like to have this part be a little bit more intuitive. And so if you're like me in any way and just don't love drawing right now at this moment, it's not your forte. Maybe you like it, but you're just not great at it. All I'm saying is don't feel bad if you project your drawing and trace it on your main surface before you paint, or if you draw your drawing from photos that you've taken in Procreate and print it out and transfer it. Like, the technology is there for us to utilize. So I have to make a decision about this figure, whether or not I want to just keep it as a contour drawing or I want to color it in. And the eye really needs somewhere to rest in this image, because once I finish the details of the water, it's going to be very, very heavy with color. So I'm really thinking about leaving the figure as a contour drawing, but I don't know. So I've never actually tried to paint water before, and it is really difficult, like very, very difficult to make it look realistic. And I've seen a lot of artists that like love painting water, and I never got the obsession. I'm like, get over it, it's water, get over it. But now I can see why, because it is so incredibly detailed. Like, you literally have to layer upon layer upon layer to get it look somewhat realistic, which I still never got to that point. Even by the end of this, it was definitely more of an interpretation of water than realistic looking water. But I am happy with how the figure turned out, and overall I'm really glad that I utilized the tracing technique and was able to make this painting for my friend where it really looks like her. The scale looks good. I've tried doing things for other people where I'm just like eyeballing it off of a photo, and it doesn't ever work perfectly. I've even tried doing the grid where you like grid the photo and then match the grid squares on your surface, and it still looked wonky. So I don't know if I did it wrong. I don't know. But this technique worked really good for me, so I feel comfortable making my final drawing in Procreate now, especially if I'm like giving work to somebody. I'm still not selling work at this point. I just make it for myself. I'm making videos to share. Yeah, that's how she turned out. And I'm really happy with it. Like, the water doesn't look super realistic, but I think it's still really pretty. I'm really happy with the coloring I did on the figure. I think the lighting is decent, which is an improvement for me. I just think it turned out really well. So guys, don't be scared to trace. Use the technique, use the technology. Look how much better. If I would have done this by eyeballing it, there's no way. It would have not looked nearly like my friend, and she was really happy with it. That's it. Thank you for watching. Hope it helps. Let me know if you utilize this tactic in your next drawing and or painting. Take care.